Welcome to Friday Vibes. No script, just chat. We talk all things food and beverage, and so much more. Feel our vibe and search for Friday Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And make sure to give us a 5-star review. Now your hosts, me, Alex Bear with Genius Juice, and Wade Yeti. All right, welcome to episode 60 of Friday Vibes. We are mixing it up for you today. Where I am on your right, Wade's on the left. I woke up this morning saying I want to be on the other side, and so I'm on the other side of the screen. The full story is that I got locked out of our podcast software account for whatever reason. We don't know why. My account doesn't exist. So now Wade is now the owner and proprietor of our StreamYard account. So congratulations, Wade.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse. I'm trying to figure out how to share it like I usually do, and everything's just all out of whack for me. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting show, to say the least. Yeah, I'm not able to share it. So
I think because it's under your account now, so it says like Wade Yeni has gone live. So now I share it now.
You want to know what's funny about that? On my timeline, on my notifications, Alex Bear is live.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think that is so weird. I think you've stolen my identity. That's the only.
Maybe that's it. And you've stolen mine. Is that what's going on here?
Exactly. I'm Alex Yeni, and you are Wade Bear today.
Yeah, I was going to say it all works, right? We'll answer to anything.
Yeah, and we also have the comments that's on the side too.
Oh yeah, I've got it. I was going to say that's up to me too, right? So let's see.
I have no control over any of this anymore.
Oh, this is really going to be a train wreck.
Yeah, you got to do this with your hands.
I was going to say, give the kid matches. So we've got Hank. We've got that Liquid Death. Yes, I told, I don't know if Sean's here or not, but I told Sean Lynch that I was going to wear this. He gifted me this at Expo, so I had to represent Liquid Death. Not that they need any more pub because they're blowing up. So we got Nick. We've got Jason thanking Hate for his wildberry samples.
We're just talking about them. Yeah. It makes a lemon taste like an orange. Nature's wildberry.
It's awesome like magic. That's like voodoo stuff, right?
Yeah, it's either a psychedelic or it's doing something to trick your brain. We don't know what it is, but it works.
Interesting. That's good stuff. So the other thing that's different, at least as I'm looking at it, is normally I have some visibility to who's on and all that good stuff. And today, because of the setup, I don't see what I'm normally seeing. So it's on my app, it shows that Alex is live. On here, it's just this
everything's
is
mixed up.
It's not Friday the 13th. I'm looking, but I'm not sure. I blame Gavin.
He's the scapegoat now and forever. So it's cool. The dynamic is it's nice. I've been wanting to talk a little less because I've been talking so much this entire week, going out and selling and having 2-hour conversations. So now I can take a little bit of the back seat and let Wade run more of the show. I'm a passenger. I'm not in the back seat, but I'm the passenger now, where I don't really have control of the wheel, but I'm still navigating and helping. I do want to do some laundry list items, which is guest. If you want to be a guest on Friday Vibes, if you would like to be a sponsor, right now it's free. Wade, is it going to remain free?
Word on the street, Alex, is that it might not always be free.
Yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as a free podcast, right? As they say. So you think it's free, but it's really not, right? We're making money somehow. But we do want to grow our podcast. We do want to get more resources behind it. We want to do more marketing behind it to get it out to the community. We want to help more of our CPG community, and that takes, it used to be cacao traded in Peru. Now it's money. So it takes money to do all this. So we're going to start putting together a sponsorship program where you can sponsor a short-term or long-term, and there'll be a really affordable rate for that. So you can be part of our community and get the word out about your product to the many, 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 many people that are on here live. And also all the listeners that go to Apple Podcast and also Spotify. So make sure to email Friday Vibes, plural, 100, Friday Vibes 100, number 100 at gmail.com.
Nice. Nice. So yeah, I put a couple notes up there. Devin Powell, TGIF, Marine, Bolin Parks is back after not being around for a while. We've got Steven Kessler, who we saw at Expo a couple weeks ago.
Just want to show Lollipop. I love this product.
We got Stephanie. Happy Friday. We've got the one, the only Bilal. Bilal's our first. Look at that. He's there for both. He just doesn't even bat an eye. He's just, yeah, that's fantastic.
There goes a month right there. A month's booked.
Yep. And yeah, so good stuff. So what's you said you've been running around selling, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm just still loving this dynamic. It's interesting. It's just from being on the left, it's like you are running it, right? Like it's awesome. I love this. Yeah. So this week has been interesting. I'm still kind of almost still coming off the high from Expo West, even though it has been a couple of weeks. I am going out and selling the living crap out of our new wellness shots that we're putting into a lot of new stores, retail, regional chains, and also different, eateries and shops and all around LA. So I've been driving about 12 hours, 3 days a week. And I did a post on LinkedIn. I got to point this way, not that way, that all about you're never too big to go back out in the field and back into the trenches. So whether guys like Seth Goldman, who I really look up to, that started Honest Tea, sold Honest Tea to Coke. He developed the brand Eat the Change, and then now he has Just Iced Tea, and he's back out there. He went to the trade shows, he went to the meetings, he goes to the stores, he checks the shelves, and wherever he lives, I think San Francisco, and he's back out there like he's starting for the first time as a new entrepreneur. And I love that entrepreneurial energy and spirit. So I feel like that's encapsulated, embodied in me. So when I've been going back out there, even though we've had our Genius smoothies on the market for 9.5 years now, it feels like we're going back to our roots, which is my hat, Rooted Food Sales, pun intended.
Nice.
And so thank you, Matt Cotton, for sending that. And but yeah, just going back to our roots, going back out and hitting the streets, pounding the pavement. I'm doing ride-alongs with our distributors. I'm doing ride-alongs with our sales team and training them on what to say and how to say it. And we're having a lot of fun here. It's great.
Great. Yeah, that's, I think, once you have that in you, if you're a true salesperson, that doesn't go away. I mean, regardless of where you go and how high you get elevated, that itch needs scratched a little bit every so often. Obviously, when you're running a business and doing all the things, accounting and, HR and everything that goes with that, it may not be at the forefront, but the itch is still there. So that's interesting to hear. So we got a couple more people join us. We've got Tony Moore. We've got Monica.
What's up, Monica?
We've got Devin asking about KeHE, which you've talked about in the past.
Quite a bit. I got to say, before we roll to the rest of the comments here, that there is going to be a news story, which I'm not going to say the publication. It was something that this organization really wanted to cover, not a story just about, us, KeHE, what's going on, just in that dynamic, but more so the entire industry and how the industry is working with large distributors, national distributors, how it could be challenging. And KeHE, in my opinion, right, and everyone has their own opinion, is a challenging distributor to work with for many reasons. But you need them because they have a lot of different stores they deliver to. So this article is going to be hitting in the next couple of weeks. I won't say who's releasing it, but I had a full interview with them where I provided insight as to what to be careful of when you are expanding your business nationally, and what we feel at Genius Juice is the best strategy to do, especially in this economic market and time. So look out for that. I'll be announcing one on LinkedIn once the article is live.
Excellent. Look forward to checking that out. Okay, yep. So we got Stephanie. Stephanie, just thanking you for sharing, I think, your sales story as far as being out there. We got Josh joining us. Afternoon, happy Friday. And we got Bilal talking about hitting the streets. And if there's anyone that knows about that, it's that guy, right?
Yeah, 75 farmers markets per week. He's at least 38 of them. You know, I'm exaggerating, but it feels like he almost is. He's that much of a grinder. And so it's really, really good stuff. Yeah, what else? So you're, I want to also just say that, you know, if you want to shout out as well, right? Like if you have questions for us, feel free to shout out. We'll shout you back out. Let us know your thoughts and feelings on what's going on, what you are going through as a brand. And we'll take it from there. So you are a couple months away, right, Wade, from moving in.
We haven't property, right? We haven't set a date yet. Trying to work through some various things that need to happen before that. You know, utilities are on. I think next week I've got my Wi-Fi being turned on. So little by little, it's coming together. We were there. I had to go out and buy a mower, which I haven't had to worry about for a while. Yeah, it's just I just bought a little electric deal because it's just a small patch, but nonetheless it needs done. So I had to do that. So there's a lot of these little things, and as I mentioned before, we have our place here into June. So we're not in a rush to get it done. We're just kind of doing little things, maybe once during the week, and then we go over on the weekends and get some things done. So so hopefully, I'm guessing May or the first part of June we'll get over there, and more than likely we will turn one of the bedrooms into an office, and we'll be doing this from there instead of seeing posters and the light behind me that's like I can't make go away. It's we'll have a little bit better surroundings as far as environment and acoustics go. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure. And I congratulate you on getting the place. And I think the market is getting better. And what's interesting too is that, just with the weather in general, changing subjects, it's been, for those that are in LA, it's been pounding rain. And there's articles coming out that there is so much snow that they're closing towns right now. Like part of Lake Arrowhead was just closed. Like you can't even go up there. It's like a bankment of snow. And so the other day was actually sleeting here in LA. So I was driving in West Hollywood going into the West Side, and it was literally sleeting. So it's interesting, it's fun. It's fun to be out there. Going back to it, I love selling. And I think when I talk to founders, the most important thing that I see, really going into more the advisory side, this is the Friday advisory services, right? We're kind of changing subjects. Is if you're a founder, CEO, co-founder, president, running a company, it's always really good to find anything you can do, find any way possible to put any task you don't have to do, have someone else do it, delegate it, bookkeeping, operations, production. It's good to be involved, but you don't have to be sitting at your production facility for, 10 hours or 15 hours. So I just got off the phone with a great entrepreneur. I won't name who they are, with a product that I absolutely love, which I hope will soon scale to be more national. And he's in the facility 10 hours at a time. He's doing bookkeeping. He's cutting checks. And I just said, listen, you need to get someone else to do that, because as the co-founder, founder, whoever, get out there and sell and raise money. Like those two things, raise money and sell your product. If you can stick to that, you can really scale your business. So that's been the biggest thing for me, is that I have a great team, a small team at Genius Juice. I've been able to have my partner handle operations. I got people handling trucks and people handling, our team handling bookkeeping. I can go out there for 12 hours without getting anxious that I have to go to my phone and answer emails. I can take 10 to 12 hours and go out and just sell. But I will say that if you have a Tesla, it makes it a lot easier to answer your emails while you're driving, if you're on auto drive or self-drive.
There you go.
Not advocating that for everyone, but if it's safe to do auto drive or self-drive, it's okay to check some emails. So, but that's a big thing that I've learned in 9 years in. Got to delegate.
Right, right. Well, I think that's true with any good leader. Certainly you need to get in the trenches and be active with your team, but at the same time, any good leader, in my opinion, regardless of the business, is going to delegate and rise their people up with them, so they're not carrying the load completely by themselves. So,
Exactly.
Speaking of the weather, I had to say this because as I put on this jersey, I'm starting to sweat. Gavin mentioned it's mid 80s in North Carolina today. It is warm. So it just kind of came out of nowhere. Last weekend wasn't quite like that, and it looks like at least this weekend and maybe into the foreseeable future. I mean, we're borderline air conditioning weather now, so it's kind of crazy to think about. But Evan had a question for you,
Yeah,
Alex.
I was looking at that.
Yeah.
Is it best to wait until a big retailer requests you to be in Unified KE versus trying to get into them yourself? I mean, it depends on it's such an open-ended question because it really depends on what your product is and where the best fit is for your product. If you have a product like Lemon Perfect, which is $1.99 to $2.49 and it's shelf stable and it could go into Publix, it can go into, well, let's say K Unify accounts, it can go into Sprouts, it can go into Albertsons, it can go into Whole Foods, then I would say it's good to go that route of eventually more mass expansion. If you have a higher end premium product, I think it's better to start local and regional in your backyard and to delay going to Unify and KE for as long as possible. Like until you really need them and until and I'm not saying I like Unify a lot more than KE. I've been very vocal about that. I'm a supporter of Unify and they've been pretty reasonable as a national distributor, but you really want to focus in your backyard. You really want to focus in metro areas where your product could sell better and it's busier and people spend more money. So I'm a big fan of DSD. I mentioned that on the show. I'm a big fan of High Touch and Rainforest and Shoreline and LAD and all these guys. Seacoast down there near Jimbo's that take care of you. You can call up the owner. They'll answer the phone. And there's really no chargebacks because when you go with a national distributor, it is pay to play. It costs a lot of money to activate the item. It costs a lot of money to get it to the stores. If you start going national, you have to hire people in those regions, right, to check the stores. All this costs a lot of money. So, yeah, and long story short, start regional, start in your backyard, start regional, and eventually, once you feel that your product is well known enough and has been proven, then you can go to Whole Foods or Sprouts and go to them. And if it's a good fit for the retailer, they'll bring in the distributor and the rest is history.
Right. I think that's what Nick was touching on here, talking about you really can't get into one of those big boys without having a key account to open up a DC, which also that's something that Marine touched on as well, is that, until a retailer is looking for your product, you can go to Alex's point, a smaller backyard type person and have a conversation and work that route. And they might actually, depending on the individual or the distributor, they might actually sell your product for you, as far as they have people out that, sometimes it's full service, sometimes it's, by full service, I mean, they're ordering the product, they're stocking the product, they're delivering the product. Full service means they do the whole kit and caboodle. So a lot of times a distributor like that you'll present, so to speak, to them, and then they will, they might agree to pick up the product and then they'll go out and sell on your behalf. So that happens a little bit, but yeah, Marine's right as far as, when you look at the big boys, that's just the way it goes. Christopher Wysong's joining us. Happy Friday. Bilal's kind of echoing what we talked about as far as the chicken before the egg, needing an anchor account to get the DC, everything we've talked about. Yep. Josh is asking, what is DSD? And
Daniel Barnes answered him.
Yep.
Direct store delivery.
Direct store delivery.
And and the other thing that was touched on, so you touched on as well, Wade, is that you have to have an anchor account to go with a DC because so many brands have made the mistake, including Genius Juice. We get sold by a broker, right? Unfortunately, or someone on our team that says, oh, you got to open up, I'm making this up, the Florida market. Well, if you don't have an anchor in Florida and you try to open up KeHE Lehigh Valley or Unify Sarasota, you're going to be struggling to keep that DC alive. You're going to need, I would say, Wade, to me, like 35 to 40 accounts pulling from that DC, unless it's really high volume.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends. There's so many parameters there with high volume and which one. So yeah, there's a lot. But to your point, you're not going to just be able to pick up a 3-store chain and get that to open up. And so just to expand on a little bit, because Josh is asking about the direct store delivery piece. So I'm gonna throw my conventional hat on for a minute and talk about. So you've got basically you have wholesalers, right? Which would be your your Unify, your KeHE, bigger Spartan Nash, AWG, these big distributors where you get the majority of your products from. Direct store delivery, examples of conventional will be like Coke and Pepsi, and the bread vendors, Pepperidge Farm, and local ice cream vendors and milk vendors, where they own and operate their own trucks and they're delivering that product direct store delivery. But what Alex is referring to is smaller, local, regional DSD vendors who have similar products as a Unify or a KeHE, but they're only providing certain products to those stores. They don't carry the wide range of products that a Unify, KeHE, or one of the larger distributors do. They have a smaller portfolio, and they operate regionally as opposed to a widespread area. Does that make sense, Alex?
Yeah. I mean, it basically, these regional distributors are just owning their backyard. They go maybe a 20, 30 mile radius. I mean, High Touch goes a little further to Arizona for Whole Foods, but Seacoast stays within Southern California, and I really like them because there's no chargebacks. There's no bullshit. When you sell them $3,000 worth of products, you're getting a check for $3,000, right? Unless there's spoilage. And also DSD moves product faster. You get it to their warehouse, they turn it around very quickly and put it right in the stores. And they're going to be more motivated because they're smaller, right? They want every brand they have to succeed. And they really care about the brands that they're with, that they carry, to make sure that the product actually sells through. So I talk with a company, they'll remain nameless. I think I've said that 800 times on the show. If you take all the times I've said that quote, it will splice in, it'll be a 5-minute clip. But there's a company that they are in 55 stores. They do self-manufacturing. Okay, this is where it blows my mind. They do self-manufacturing. They're in 55 doors. They focus on a certain type of account. Again, I'll be very kind of bland with it. It's a food service type account. And they do anywhere from 5 to 15 cases a week per location with 3 SKUs. So they're in the right locations, and they're going to do, I think so far they're doing about 60 to 70,000 a month in sales. So they're going to near $1 million in under 100 stores.
Wow.
So that's just, they're doing it's just insane. So they just do really, really well. They just do a lot of volume. So you do the math. I mean, 10, 15 cases, it really adds up, a 12-pack, right?
Right.
And it's also a very high cost product. This product is not $2. This is $5 and up, sometimes up to $10. So it's very specialty, but it shows you they're profitable. They have margin. They're in their backyard. They can see the accounts. They can smell the accounts. They can go into the accounts. They can shake hands, kiss babies, and they're going to eventually start breaking into the $1 million in the next year or two.
Right.
That to me is an amazing model where you don't have to be doing 50 million and you can be successful. And we've talked about this on the show so much, Wade, which is the model is changing, which is slow and steady at a great margin, and profit wins the race, not fast burning cash and hoping you grow your revenue enough.
Right. Exactly. I'm getting behind on comments, so I'm going to put my director's hat back on here. So we got Steven kind of echoing, it's important to think big, but be responsible to play small when starting. We have a couple of questions coming in. Andy's asking me, so this is me asking myself a question. Do you prefer to have a product presented by the founder or a salesperson? That's a good question. So, when which mind you, now in my role, I don't do a lot of talking, having presentations made to me. I have conversations with brands, I have conversations with founders, brokers, and all those things, but presentations are typically being made at this point to my category managers. But I always enjoy talking to founders because I think it's kind of things we've talked about, and I'll continue to, I'll testify to this until the cows come home, that I feel like no one is going to sell your product as good as you do. And in my past life, when I was able to talk to founders, I got a lot of enjoyment out of hearing the stories firsthand, what they're passionate about, why they got into the business, to tell me about the product. And you just could get a lot of that. And the cool thing about that is I developed a lot of relationships to this day that are still very strong. So if I had my say, I personally like that. Now, from a category manager standpoint, I mean, realistically, as you're scaling your business and you look across the country, are you going to make every single sales pitch as a founder? Probably not. But I think when you're able to, and it makes sense, if it's a strategic play like certain retailers, that it makes sense. I certainly, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. But I would say, depending again on who you're presenting to and the scope of their business, there's probably individuals that might be somewhat intimidated by talking to a founder as opposed to a broker or a salesperson, because that's the other thing. As you grow and you look at larger chains, those salespeople, those brokers and individuals have those relationships because they're talking to the people, the CMs and every day of the week, or, several times a week. Whereas if a founder comes down, oh, I'm the founder, it can be a little bit too much, So I think that's where you hold your brokers and those people accountable, and you get that feedback, and then maybe strategically for larger players or ones that are really important to you, maybe you step in. Alex, what do you think?
I mean, I think you nailed it. And I think everyone on here is thinking the same thing. Not a ton to add to that since you covered it so well, Wade, but I would say that intimidation and sometimes too much passion can be damaging in a meeting, because founders, especially when they're early stage, you're looking to just make sure that you can make it to next month. Like you're depending on this sale in order to get enough revenue to pay yourself some kind of salary so you can put food on the table and hopefully afford Netflix. And, sadly, that it comes down to that, $16.99 a month or whatever it is.
Right.
So, founders, including myself, when I first started, you get too passionate, you get too aggressive, and it actually can scare, not so much scare, but just rub the wrong way the buyer or the person making the decision, the general manager, the owner, the owner of the store. So it's being really careful. And I like that. That was my strategy, is like, I can get very passionate, but you know what? Having a broker or a salesperson that I trust and really trust in, they can do a great job. Having that buffer is actually a lot better, since some buyers don't want to be meeting with 10 founders a week, right? Maybe once in a while, right? It's okay.
And the other thing, and we can close this because I'm getting so far behind here. I feel your pain. I feel your pain, like you normally have to do this. But what I would say is, you kind of touched on this at the beginning of the show, like where we talked about, hiring people to do this for you, whether it's operations or logistics or, as a founder, you should know what your strong points are, right?
Yep.
And if it's sales, then you focus on sales. And your weak points are operations and logistics, you hire people to take care of those things for you. Now, if you're not a good speaker, if you're nervous, et cetera, maybe you hire a rock star salesperson and you focus on your strong points in the business, the marketing, the operations, those things. So I think really there's not a concrete black and white answer. I think it really just depends on you. You've said it yourself, Alex, you enjoy it. We know you're passionate about it. You've appeared on national television, trying to sell your products. So
was that America's Most Wanted, or which one was that?
I was going to say, I think it was, what was that show? Shark Tank. But I think so you as the founder, CEO, whatever you want to call it, you need to know what your strong points are. So, all right, So we'll keep going here. There's a lot here. And
I do want to mention one very quick thing, because I know there's comments, but I want to mention March 30th, Morongo casino. Meet me there if you want me to take your money. I'm just kidding. There's going to be a Shark Tank audition, last one for season 15, Thursday, March 30th, 2023. Make sure to go there if you're a brand to try out audition. Don't miss it. If you miss that one, it's done for the season. You have to wait until next year. So just wanted to mention that. California.
Right. Good. And Sarah mentioned that Jordan Buckner has an awesome public DSD list. So
Nice.
good. It is. It's a great resource for everyone. Josh, yes, High Touch. Alex has talked about that in the past. They're a great Southern
Love
California DSD distributor. So yes, they would be considered DSD. What else we got?
America's Most Wanted smoothie, Daniel Barnes.
Yeah. Gavin brings this up. A lot of DSD folks are in the stores 3 times a week, if not every single day. And then you don't have to be as reliant on the store team to do it, which in this day and age with labor and resources being limited or troublesome, that's very important. It's a very good service. Allie Kane's joining us.
What's up, Allie?
Happy
in
Friday,
the sauce.
Allie.
In the
Yes.
sauce.
All right. So let's see. Listen to Gavin. I'm a pencil pusher. I'm something. Let's see. Adam, thoughts on private label opportunities? Probably need to expand on that a little bit, Adam, as far as like, are we talking about a certain category? Is that question for Alex or what have you? We can come back to that.
I thought he meant profit and loss opportunities.
Well, that could be
mostly loss in CPG.
Right. Allie talked a little bit about having sales folks listening on the founder pitching a lot before they start. Founders talk too much, so we need to learn to listen. Yeah, it's a give and take for sure. Gavin, founders cool. What if they are dull? Whoever's the most passionate, that's kind of what I just said. But I'm behind, so I'm sure. Let's see. As a broker, a dull founder sucks, and I'd rather have the sales folks. Again, it's what your strong point is, right?
Yep. It's delegating too. You can't be in 10 places at once. I mean, if there's a major meeting, like with Target or Albertsons, I think it's good to have the founder in the room, but you can also have a broker in the room because the broker will speak the language of the retailer on what they're looking for, what's trending. They've done the data research. What's the promotional calendar? I like to have both in the room because the founder brings the passion and the emotional side and the excitement. But then the broker kind of reins in the founder to say, okay, let's be realistic on what are our goals, promotional plan, rollout, etc. So I like that combination.
Right. Let's see. There's a lot going on here. I think we're caught up a little bit. We're caught up. I missed you, just send it back. There's quite a few. So So anything else exciting happened this week, Alex? Anything? Besides the sales
we are, I just want to, it's interesting. We talk about many things on the show. I want to go into real estate for a hot second, because, you just went through the real estate thing. Okay. We're not in a position, not to be too personal to buy a home yet, but we're looking, we're like, okay, like what's out there? Unless I want a 1-bedroom studio, in Hollywood overlooking the 101 freeway with truckers outside my door. That's pretty much all we can afford in LA. I mean, it's just insane right now. So a lot of people are moving outside of LA now. Right. A lot of, not just, there's obviously people that are moving across state lines, moving from San Diego, LA to North Carolina, to Charlotte, to Austin, to Seattle, all these really great areas that are up and coming, or just great areas for family in general. But a lot of my friends have moved like to Riverside, Ontario, Menifee, Glendora, moving to Aliso Viejo because they can't afford Orange County and they can't afford San Diego. So it's really Andy Kurtz moved to North Carolina. I would love that, except all I know in North Carolina is pretty much Wade right now.
I was going to say sold. Well, yeah, I was going to say done, right?
I do have some relatives there. I do have my aunt and uncle, but they're traveling half the time anyway because they're retired. But it's going to be hard for me to leave California. I've been here my entire life. And also our parents are here, and we want to make sure our parents see our baby grow up. And so it's tough where you have to make sacrifices. You can't live next to the beach. You can't live in, West LA or something, or Santa Monica. You got to kind of move away from there. So I'm seeing that happening in LA. I just wanted to point that out for all my Angelinos that are on here, that if you're looking to buy a place, there's some mighty attractive deals an hour outside of LA. So I just want to throw that out there.
Great stuff. So we got a little bit more about the private label thing, and
let's go back into that.
I was going to say there's some commentary going on here. So Adam's asking if a store's asking for private label, is that a good opportunity, or does it box out the brand opportunity? And I know there's been a little bit back and forth. Allie's talking about pushing back for branding. So Adam, just as an experience, typically I feel like, and certainly I haven't worked for a retailer that was focused on private label for the bulk of their sales, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Trader Joe's is mentioned further down in the chat here. But, private label is certainly an opportunity. I think my experience is that there are some times when they can play together, meaning you can serve your branded product as well as a private label product. There's obviously got to be a differentiator. In my past, I've done that with ice cream and milk both. But as Allie mentioned, I think, she mentioned a little bit down below, it's hard to go back, meaning if you get into a store producing private label, it's going to be an uphill battle to end up getting your branded in if it's not in from the start, if that makes sense. It's just one of those things that private label is if the retailer is focused on that, and your branded product is essentially the same as the private label we're producing, it's going to be a hard sell to get that branded product in. So Alex, do you have any experience with private label yourself?
We had bids with certain retailers, for our coconut based products on being private label, but I agree wholeheartedly with Allie Kane here, that it really takes away from your brand, right? You want to build your brand and have brand recognizability. So when you're selling more in stores, that's going to build your brand up, and more people are going to remember it. And when they go to other stores, they're going to buy your product. But also the big play, or one of the plays, is online, right? So when someone finds your brand in the store, if it's private label, where are they going to go? Kroger.com and buy it, the private label. But if they find your brand, they're going to go to geniusjuice.com or all these other, True Beverages, Gavin Conk, wherever it is, and they're going to go buy it online. So I would say, though, that there are certain retailers such as Trader Joe's, right, where 9 times out of 10, I would say 95 times out of 100, you have to be private label. But what's great about private label, because I know I have a friend that's in private label and he does, 20 million plus a year, no chargebacks. You send it to the retailer. They're fully responsible for it. Sometimes they even pick up the product because it's their brand on it, not yours. And it's guaranteed income. It's guaranteed revenue without any chargebacks or surprises. And they always pay on time, right? Because it's private label with the company. And I see private label as a way to build your volume. So it's economies of scale. And it's just really that's the play.
Right. And in most cases, depending, but most of my experience says that typically if you as a buyer or you as a retailer are buying private label, you've negotiated an EDLC. So there's no trade spend on top of it. There's no promotional monies. It's just, it's up to the retailer. It's up to them to promote the product. And
exactly.
And so the other thing that I've done, like I said, is negotiated or worked on an ice cream supplier who made our private label, and it was a true private label, which meant it was the cheapest in the category, right? So it was, let's just call quality level here, which was not necessarily competing with their branded product, which was, higher butter fat, less overrun, et cetera, et cetera. So, we had the Price Fighter ice cream, which was our private label. And then we were still able to bring in that branded product, which is a different product from there. And same thing on the bread side. We had our typical white bread, wheat bread, hot dog bun, hamburger buns, and then the private label supplier produced those. But then they also had, the split top this, and they had, seeded rye and all these different things, the higher end things that they produced. that we didn't want in our private label. So it's it's a little give and take, and I think it really just depends. I mean, what your your strategy is for your brand and the retailer you're doing business with. So
Exactly. Yeah. And you can be easily replaced. That's the other challenge, depending on what
right,
the product is. But a lot of private label is commoditized, private label almond milk, private label nuts, private
right,
label, cheese and all these things that you find at Kroger, things, Simple Truth, right? Simple
right.
Truth. Or you find at Trader Joe's, or you find O Organics, right, at Albertsons, which I don't know if there's going to be a merger. We can talk about that. I keep on hearing like
Right.
they're trying to fight it right now. But so essentially, you can be easily replaced. And there's another friend that was selling a jarred product, and he sold it to them for 10 years to this one retailer. And suddenly a new buyer came in. The buyer had a relationship with another supplier. They lost millions of dollars in business overnight by a new buyer coming in and saying, you know what, I'm going to go with this supplier. What I like about having a brand is it's a moat. No one else can copy your brand.
Right.
Someone else can always copy a private label product. So, but you know what? It goes back to what Ali said, or someone said. It's either, to me, it's one or the other. I feel like focus on your brand or focus on private label. If you try to do both at the same time, you might dilute yourself. That's my opinion.
Right.
What other comments we got coming in here?
Well, let's see. We've got a lot of feedback on the private label back and forth. I put a couple up where we are talking.
Hot topics.
Yes, right. We got Allie talking about Whole Foods leaning into private label again. After 365 didn't really work great. It's one of those things. I think as people look at where the inflation, the private label, all the metrics will tell you that when times are tough, people lean into private label because typically it's the lesser price option, and so when dollars are stretched, people need to make their money go further, and they're probably going to lean towards value a little bit more so than when inflation is as big of a deal. So private label certainly has its ups and downs as far as that goes. And I think the other challenge with is coming out of COVID. I know there was a lot of manufacturing issues with, when you look at private label and people were capacity, supplies were tight, whether you're talking about glass or card, whatever it was. And then as your manufacturer producing private label, you may have been in a position where you had to pick and choose what orders you were filling because, maybe you were servicing, 20 customers, with, 5,000 stores. But when things were restricted and supplies and different things were slim, you had to drop some of those customers in order to fulfill the other customers. So it's a dangerous game from a retail side because you have to be invested with good partners from the private label side to make sure they're going to be able to consistently supply. So when we talk about this, right, if you're scaling your business and you try and go into 1,000 doors, the biggest thing you need to be able to do is supply 1,000 doors. Well, the same holds true with private label. If you're going out and selling quote unquote private label, and you're producing for 1,000 customers, or you sell 1,000 customers, you have to be able to produce for 1,000 customers. So it truly is a pendulum, a little bit different what Ali was talking about, but yes, nonetheless. So let's see.
So my Whole Foods store, this is Stephanie Huey, which she works in the Whole Foods Potrero Hill store, which is a great store in San Francisco. She says that at her Whole Foods store, they sell better, higher volume that are not Whole Foods private label. Again, not to belabor the point, but it really depends on where you're selling it. If you're at a Kroger somewhere else that's not in Southern California or San Francisco, people don't have as much, at the same level of income. Private label is going to be more attractive. But if I go to the shout out to Three Trees, almond milk for $6.49 a bottle. If I go there, I'm going to buy Three Trees, and I'm not going to buy the private label almond milk because I want to support a local brand, right? That's from San Francisco, and I love the owner. And also, to me, it's creamier and better than the private label. Private label is not bad, but So it all depends. I want to say I just want to give, I know we have a stuff we love coming up because I have to end on time this time. We usually go over, but there's a brand that I want to shout out that I absolutely love. That's in Southern California.
Oh, nice.
They're growing. It's called, and they were actually we saw them, right. We were hanging out at the Alley Rally. It's a Nowhere Bakery, and they are the winner of the backpack brand competition with Startup CPG. So congratulations. So Maurizio and his wife, they are the founders of Nowhere Bakery, and I put the website in there. You can see displayed, which I'm not able to do, but Wade is, and just super. I know it doesn't go good with beer. Yeah, yes. So, but the product is so damn good, so pure. It's refrigerated. They have the Blondie bar, which is one of my favorites. They have the Blondie and brownies. They have the best effing cookie ever. They have, brownie mix, chocolate cake, chocolate chip cookie, baking mix, cookie dough bars, which is also one of my favorites. Make sure to support them, buy the product. It's only available in LA, but they do ship nationally. They didn't sponsor the show because I just, no matter what, I'm going to mention them because I love their product and I love the founders. And so Nowhere Bakery, check them out.
Good stuff. All right. Well, that's to do this on time, Alex. That means we better get into the next segment, which is
Friday Freebies.
All right. And then stuff we love. Do you have anything on your side?
You know what? I do not, simply because I was too busy trying to relearn how to do all these things. So I did not have much opportunity to get anything ready. So let's just say Liquid Death. I'll say that and I'll come back next week. Hopefully you've regained the controls, or I'll be better prepared to, usually I have my my lovely wife, Renee, here that can hand me something. She's not here right now. So I'm going to pass over the stuff we love to you.
There it is. There's music.
There you go.
So Wade's actually playing that music now on his keyboard. There's a keyboard.
Yes.
You can't see it right now.
Yes.
So and then Stephanie, who we love the offerings of Nowhere Bakery, discovered that brand thanks to Coconut Colt. Yeah, Coconut Colt and Nowhere Bakery together is like heaven. It's freaking heaven. It's like bougie. It's bougie food in yogurt land. So Olipop, strawberry vanilla. Also, their new flavor, the cream soda, is fantastic. I didn't like their lemon lime. I don't know why. I just didn't like it. Not for me, but I love all their other flavors, root beer, strawberry vanilla, and so forth. So for me, that is the stuff that I love.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's get back to, let me find this.
The Friday freebies.
Yeah, let me try that again. Let's try it again.
Yeah, second time's a charm.
Oh, man, I almost deleted something. That would have been bad.
Friday freebies.
All right. So we didn't even mention them before, but I also want to just, before we go into our question to win the prize, which is a delicious decadent treat, which these are amazing. They sent some to me, Jesse did, and they're awesome. We're going to have Dream Pops on. Speaking of decadent treats, Dream Pops, David Greenfeld, next week, March 31st. And then a couple weeks later, Chubby Snacks with Dylan Cheglio. And then we are going to have Nowhere Bakery on at some point, by summer. I just talked to the owner and he's amazing. So we'll have him on as well with a giveaway for their delicious baked goods. But let's get back to Wims. Wade,
right
take
on.
it away.
So, yeah, I'll do that right now. So Wims is an LA-based, woman-owned, permissible indulgence brand reimagining the chocolate confectionery we grew up eating. They do so in a way that is accessible to everyone, regardless of dietary restrictions or preferences. Their first product is an oat milk chocolate peanut butter cup that has only 1 gram of sugar, contains no palm oil or sugar alcohol, and is gluten-free and vegan. But most importantly, they're delicious. I'm going to let Alex attest to that in a second. But they're giving away a 3-pack of their oat milk chocolate peanut butter cups. I think it's a bag, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yep.
Alex, my memory is that you were a pretty big fan when you tried these previously.
I did like them. I like that it was 0 or 1 gram of sugar. They taste like a Reese's peanut butter cup. You can indulge without the guilt and without the sugar. So it's cool. I loved it.
Excellent. Excellent. So hopefully you've got a question that you're thinking about. What do you
Why
think?
did I lose access to StreamYard? I don't think anyone can
I
answer
was
that
gonna
one.
say if they can solve that, they might be hacked into it. What do you think?
Yeah, they get a palette of whims. You know what? Let me do a really simple one. And
Like it.
but it's what pains me is that it's the only one I can think of, but it would disqualify, it would not it would cause one person to not be able to win it. But I think she's won prizes in the past, so she's always donating her prizes anyway.
Okay.
So this is my question. It's not a hard question. Stephanie Hui, and you can't look it up. Where does she work and what location?
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, don't look on wherever the internets.
And I'm watching. I'm not watching the LinkedIn feed. I'm watching the StreamYard feed, Alex. So if something different comes up, let me know.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm all right. So someone said Whole Foods, but what is the actual store called? Yeah, it's not SF. It's in SF, but it's the name of the store? Daniel Barnes, at least from my side.
That's what I see too. That's what I see too.
Yeah, less delay when you're looking at it on
Lovely.
LinkedIn.
All right, so Alex, how does Daniel win his prize?
There's one way, which is to email FridayVibes100@gmail.com. FridayVibes100@gmail.com, the number 100, and we will connect you with Jesse Baruch. He may be Jewish, and he will get you that prize. We will, because I know we have a few minutes here, we're going to have a major announcement. I'm working on some of the graphics for it, but with our team. But it's coming next week that we are officially going to be updating the name of our show.
Excellent. So that will be fun.
It's not going to be CP Genius, because that's already taken.
Exactly. Alex, you have to talk about our ongoing sponsor though as well, right?
Yes, that's right. I got a little distracted with all the changes here today, but V Driven. They're our longtime sponsor. The CEO is Luke Abbott. Luke.Abbott, ABBOTT at vdriven.com. And vDriven is a CPG partner for emerging purpose-driven brands. They fuel growth and innovation by providing strategies and support in every phase of the retail journey, from leadership coaching, brand management, deduction management, which is not on here, but I'm adding it, accounting, sales strategy, day-to-day tactical support. They're an end-to-end solution to the brand's business needs. And they're fantastic. Maureen Bolin Parks, who participates in our show here, and she's on right now. She is part of V Driven. They can help you build your brand. They have many relationships with corporate buyers and managers and owners across the country, and they have a back office team that can help you deduction fighting with accounting. I mean, they do it all to be a resource to a CPG brand. So totally recommend, reach out to them, vdriven.com. That's V as in Victor, or velocity, driven, and that's Luke.Abbott at vdriven.com.
And you know what I was going to say, that's a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. If you're strong in sales and you need help with operations, logistics, accounting, call V Driven. If you're good at operations, logistics, and accounting, and you need help with sales, call V Driven.
Call V Driven.
They can be one of those assets for you if you're looking for help in an area you're not strong in. They can certainly help you with that. So great folks, and I think everyone here knows that Alex and myself enough, excuse me, that we're not going to just recommend somebody that that wouldn't do a good job for you. So I think Luke's reputation and V Driven's reputation in the industry speaks for itself. So Alex, we got just a couple minutes. Anything going on this weekend?
Yeah, want to quickly mention we are clients of V Driven as well. So just want to quickly shout them out for that we put our money where our mouth is. Yeah, this weekend we are traveling. We're not house hunting, but we're just looking at what's out there and looking at some new developments and communities that's outside of the direct LA area. So we're going to go down to the San Clemente area, kind of close-ish to your old stomping grounds.
Yep.
And then we're not going to make it to Carlsbad, but we'll make it as far south as we can. And then we're going to be going more inland on Sunday to Ontario to visit some friends out there, and we're going to look at some housing developments. And it's kind of interesting when you go there and it's farmland, and then they're like, in a year there's going to be a pool and a clubhouse there. It's like you got to kind of visualize it. It's like Back to the Future, right, where there was nothing there before, and then they went there as farmland. When they went to the past in 55, only people that love the movie would know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So that's what we're doing, just traveling around. A little harder when you have a baby. You have to stop every 30 to 40 minutes to feed them and take care of them. But it's going to be some fun to get out of Dodge a little bit and back on Monday for a strong week. How about you?
Excellent. Excuse me. So as I mentioned, I think before we went on the air, I've got a friend in from Ohio. So yes. Anxiously awaiting me to finish this up so we can get out and grab something to eat and catch up. And he'll be with us. And then I'm sure Sunday we'll probably spend some time at the new house and getting things situated and back at it Monday for a full week. So yeah, it'll be good. It's going to be a warm one. It's a warm one right now, and looking forward to it. So this has been fun. I don't know, Alex. We got David Greenfeld here next week with Dream Pops, and David's a great guy. He's got a lot of good stories, a lot of history with the brand, and obviously the business as a whole. So we're looking forward to that. And we don't know who's going to be driving next week. I might be driving again, which is scary to think about. But if I need to drive, I'll be the autopilot in the Tesla, and Alex can just hang out.
Yeah. I'll be taking a nap in the back. So, and then you did a great. I think everyone can agree you did a fantastic job today running the show, posting the comments. I think you did a world's better job at addressing and shouting out everyone than me. I can get a little bit ADD. You were very focused on making sure everyone's voice was heard. So yeah, love you, brother. You did a great job.
It's been fun. Yeah. Thanks. Every once in a while, maybe we'll just flip a coin and see who's driving the show, right? So exactly. It's been fun. Well, everyone have a good weekend. Alex, have fun house hunting and all that good stuff. We'll see you all. When do we see him, Alex?
It is Friday, 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. And look for the announcement next week on our new name. 5 stars, right?
5 stars. Everyone have a good weekend. Take care.
Thanks, guys.